Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and help you keep social. After all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. And I'm so stoked to have Josh Parish with me. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, I appreciate your invitation to be here. I'm excited.
So tell me a little bit about what you do, who you serve, and a little bit about your business.
Well, I've been a lifelong salesperson my entire life, currently selling real estate out here in the Panhandle, but making the transition into the personal development consulting space. And really and truly, I don't have a model client per se, but anybody that wants to basically enhance their lifestyle and they might feel disempowered or in a disempowered state and they want to feel empowered. They're feeling self-conscious. I've got a lot of tactics and whatnot to teach you how to think instead of exactly what to think.
So I was very intrigued. You had a little slogan that said, F your luck. So tell me a little bit about that whole statement.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people that surround us and throughout history, they've just drifted through life. And, you know, when someone is successful, they may be told, you know, oh, you're so lucky. But really and truly, people don't fall into success for the most part. We see the very tip of the iceberg when they're holding the trophy, but they've put in hours and hours of methodical work to get there. And so I really don't like the word luck, just because it just seems superficial. And you know, the master, the one that you see at the top holding the golden medal, they've put in so much time in the monotonous work. It's insane. So if we really want to get to a higher version of ourselves, it's going to take some self-reflection and stillness, but it's also going to take, you know, repetition of the basics over and over and over.
Absolutely. I'm kind of a believer that you sort of make your own luck, because
right.
It's something that everybody always goes, oh, you're lucky. Oh, you're not lucky. But then if you look back to the people who are not lucky, they've made certain choices. And right. I honestly think it's about choice in a sense, because whenever I was unlucky, it was definitely my choice. So I love that you have, you know, you want to help people with their transformation, and that's kind of a journey. So what would you say are the pillars of rapid ascension and transformation?
Well, you know, the mindset is everything. And in terms of healing and medicine and whatnot, a person could be prescribed the perfect medicine for them. But if they don't believe that it's going to work, it's called the nocebo effect, right? We've heard of placebo, but the nocebo effect this is the exact protocol and medicine that you need to take for your ailment, you know, but they don't believe in it, so it doesn't work. So the foundation of rapid ascension is definitely the belief that you're worthy to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. And then I believe it's engaging in a physical practice, enhancing your physique and your health, because this is the vehicle that we're in, so we have to be proud and we have to be pain-free, and it's better if we're strong and coordinated, because then we can move through life with fluidity and grace, and that's so important.
Absolutely. You know, I happen to be a believer of, you know, I once heard this saying that said, take care of your body now so it will take care of you later. And right. So that always sticks with me. I heard it at a networking group, but it was a chiropractor actually that said it. And it was amazing. In thinking about this transformation, this journey, as one who wants to be on top of their industry, how do you stay on top of your industry?
Well, you know, so I'm just embarking upon this new chapter and whatnot, but I've and I only have just a few clients so far because everybody knows me as real estate salesman down here. But living what you preach, practicing what you preach and leading by example, that is really and truly going to hold you at the top of your industry. And because there's so many people out there that, they take this strategy from this person and they take, this power phrase and mental, exercise from this person. And so they're just kind of dilly-dallying and they're sampling from so many people that, they don't own it, so owning what you preach, and it doesn't matter exactly what you preach, but if you live it better than anyone else, then you're going to be at the top because it's in your being. So I'm really practicing what I preach, and I'm looking to help a lot of folks.
Now, moving into this whole health and wellness and fitness stage of your life, there are a lot of, I don't know, it's like there's one gym, there's this magic pill, there's this, there's that. What are some of the pitfalls of mainstream fitness dogma?
Well, the barrier to entry in this space is absolutely minimal. Anybody and everybody can call themselves a coach. That's the great thing. And it's also a good thing. That's a good thing and that's a bad thing, right? But, in this social media grab attention space, it's usually the most radical videos, the enhanced person, surgically enhanced person, the Photoshop person that gets the most attention. And unfortunately, it's not always the best coach that always, helps the most people or influences the most people. So you really have to, look with an observant eye on what's going on. It's like, well, is this influencer just showing their body, or can they actually speak about what they're talking about? Or, does this person look like they're going to get injured doing this? Because, I'm not necessarily, geared to do this. So you really just have to be skeptical. You have to believe that, action, C plus action is better than A plus planning, right? But you definitely, the main thing is just, it needs to make you feel better about yourself. And you need to be able to do it day in and day out. Because if you do this like crushing workout, you can't move for 4 days. It's like, well, are you really getting better? Or, maybe you should just take a little bit at the time, inch by inch. Life is a cinch. You create that momentum, that snowball effect of just doing a little bit every day, and you're getting a little bit better every day.
Yeah. So, I just recently hired a personal trainer, and so it was interesting. We did I needed to switch up my routine. And I was like, so she taught me a whole bunch of new stuff that I had never done before. And literally I was so sore after I felt like I hadn't used those muscles. It's kind of like when I go skiing, because I don't ski a lot. The next day after a ski trip, I am literally so sore. There's so many people out there. How do you pick somebody who can be an elite level mentor? What are some secrets of doing that?
Well, picking the mentor that you should listen to. And I'm a firm believer of you can only have one coach at one time. Like you need to extract all the information that you can from that one mentor, but they need to be speaking in terms of principles instead of tactics. Like, this is how, you get out of pain. This is how, you enhance your endorphins. This is how you gain general strength and mobility and whatnot. And they should explain, what's going on, while they're doing it. So, they're not just going to say, hey, do this exercise. They're going to give you a reason why you're going to do this exercise or this program. And you need to feel good about it, right? Because yes, the hot trainer is going to be like, let's do this 21-day booty building program. But maybe they just have a big butt just because they have a big butt, so they need to have a little bit of science behind it. They need to have some case studies where they've helped this person. And, it's just, that's pretty much it. You just have to, and usually your older trainers that are continuously studying, they're going to, because they've had the time in the trenches, so many people, they get their little certificate and they're like, I'm a trainer now, but not all trainers are created equal. You want people that's been in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, because then they could recognize, hey, this worked in this situation when I had this, and you're similar to that person. So let's try this out. And know that, as long as we have breath in our lungs, we should always be testing, right? So there's no perfect program out there. And it's a test, and then you see what the results are, and then you might not necessarily like the results, so you go try something else. So, it's just simplicity is key. You want your mentor to speak with simplicity and whatnot, put things in layman's terms, be able to explain it like that, for sure.
Absolutely. I love the fact that, that it's important to know why you're doing something and the science behind it. I'm going to kind of switch gears, and I'm going to just go off topic now, because I just happened to notice this, you gave some questions and stuff, and I was intrigued by this one because I actually am a very spiritual person. But one of the questions that you put out there that was so random was, how are the majority of churches screwing up their members? I am intrigued with your answer on this.
So one, I'm in the Deep South and grew up Southern Baptist. And I think that, I'm speaking from, Christian faith and whatnot, but I appreciate all faiths. And I think that, one, the teaching of the Bible is extremely vague, but you can come back to the stories at any time and, it might mean something different, which is wonderful. But to me, it's franchised faith. It's in a box. It's for the masses, which is great. But in terms of specifics, like, hey, I have back pain, like, how do I fix this? Well, the Bible can't tell you that. It's like, well, and, you give your money away for tithing. It's like, well, just go do your own good in the community, right? So it just kind of makes you think. It tells you what to think instead of how to think. And I can't say that. I'm not going to say that churches are doing, a disservice, because definitely I think people should have faith. But anytime that something is made for the masses, you have to pause and look it over and be like, all right, you take nuggets of wisdom, because I've definitely studied the Bible a good bit. And there's been, I've learned a lot of great things from it, but they're very one track. This is the belief system and everybody else is wrong. And we really need to expand and accept, other people's beliefs. And if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. But this is the libertarian come out in me, right? Like, I'm accepting of everyone, and I pick through the crap, and but it's very, very, it's a box per se, and I don't necessarily like boxes like that. So,
yeah, I have a different angle. Just that I feel that, like, church is not equal to God. Church is just a building. And I believe that the most important thing is having that relationship with God, and everything else will come. So, like it says in the Bible, for instance, that, we are, our bodies are a temple, and so we should take care of our bodies. And so that was the only reason I wanted to see where you were coming from. I believe today's church is failing in many ways. A lot of things, for instance, is, a lot of things that the government is doing that they shouldn't be doing is actually what the church should be doing. The church should be feeding the poor. The church should be taking care of people. It shouldn't be the government. Right. But anyways, that all got kind of upside down anyway. So I'm going to switch gears again, because a lot of people that are listening to this are business owners. Okay. And so what do you love most about being in business for yourself?
Well, I've had hundreds of jobs, and I've been fired from hundreds of jobs. And I firmly feel that it's best to stand on your own feet, learn how to generate your own leads, and create your own opportunity. It's much better to have your own little ship than go stand on someone else's big ship. And I appreciate all the jobs that I've had, because great training, great experience and whatnot. But ultimately, again, you're in a box. You have to, and if you make, Susan mad or Don mad in HR or whoever, there's such a dynamic in the space of like, you have to appease so many people, which is a great experience to engage in. But ultimately, my business and my house, real estate, you can run it any way you want. The consulting space online, you can run it any way you want. I can be flexible with my hours, even though I'm working all the time, because I absolutely love it. So yeah, I mean, it's just to take your fate and be the master of it, and just go give a lot of value and just back up your word. I mean, that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, is like betting everything on yourself, right? Taking that risk and really just backing your products up 100% with everything that you have. And because whenever, I mean, not necessarily, I'm not saying that, big companies don't have the best products, but at the same time, like, lackluster service often occurs with the bigger the companies that you deal with. So
there are a lot of people that think being in business for themselves is glamorous, and that it's, a piece of cake. And, especially the people looking in, oh, wow, it's really cool that you have your own business. But we both know that there are some struggles. What would you say is the number one struggle you've had when growing a business, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I would say that even though I have extreme self-confidence, there's that thought monster that lives in the back of your head, because there's been months where I've made, entire people's salaries. And then there's been months where I didn't make a dime, and I've put in the exact same amount of effort. You'll have to, first off, get the plane off the ground, which means working all the time. You'll have to front all the funds and, the anxiety, and you'll, it's a big risk, to go into business for yourself. And yeah, I mean, we get caught in the entrepreneurial trap in terms of, working in the business instead of on the business. And there's just so many pitfalls that you don't know until you're in the bottom of the pit, right? So it's like you run yourself to the bone and not make a dime. But it's the sales, entrepreneurialism, it's the worst paying job, but also it's the best paying job. So
yeah, and I'd add one more. It's really rewarding, when you help somebody, and I'm sure you see it more in your field, that, when you're working with somebody and helping them with some of their habits and some of their workouts and everything, it's like when you see the change in them improving, it's the most rewarding thing that you could possibly do.
Absolutely. So, I love to see people's eyes whenever I create epiphany, and they're like, I get it now. And whether it's an exercise or, something to combat like a bad habit, it's amazing to see that.
Absolutely. Well, I always end my show with this, is give one piece of advice that is universal, that can help either somebody move forward in their business, somebody that's struggling, or just encourage someone. What would that be?
One is, there's God that lives in you. It's the great I am, right? So first and foremost, you have to proclaim what you're going after, and you are that person that can achieve that. So you have to state it to the universe, like, this is who I am and this is what I do. And you have to have supreme confidence in yourself that you're going to get through whatever you're going to get through. And anything worth having, there's going to be risks that come along with it. There is no safe portion of entrepreneurialism. Like, you're never going to get the gold without, the risk. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if somebody resonated with you today or needs to get in touch with you, how can they do that? Do you have anything that you're offering?
Yeah, you can go check out my Instagram page, instagram.com/the Josh Parish, TheJoshParish. And that's where I distill all my wisdom, and my contact information is there. And that's just the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being a guest. And until next week, everyone, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.